Hi there, you guys, and welcome back to part 2 of Air by George Friedrich Handel from the Old Masters series. Hello to you on Patreon, and I hope you enjoyed this video today. And there's an attached picture for you in the post for today's class for the week of your practice. And for those of you that are on YouTube, hello, and you don't have this picture that I'm attaching with my notes, there's lots of notes, but we're going to go through it together verbally. You can find this etude in the YouTube video description. Just click on the link to imslp.org and it'll take you over to the etude, and you can scroll through to get to Air. And grab a pencil, both of you guys, if you're on YouTube or on Patreon, grab a pencil or a highlighter or something, and we're going to be doing a lot of scribbling and detail work for the second part of this etude. So we're going to start on line 3 today. And for those of you on Patreon, I'm going to be mostly talking to you guys because this is originally created for you, this series. So you can see on the picture that in the third line I've written morbo because the third line begins forte. And I just want to point out that also in that first measure of the third line, there is in parentheses 2 times P written in parentheses there. And you might remember from the first half that that means the second time you're going to play it piano. So if you look at the end of the last line, there's the first ending, and you're going to repeat all the way back to this third line here, but you would just play it piano the second time. So I'm going to play this whole second half for you first, and then we'll go back and we'll do some details. I'd really recommend that as you're listening, that you just follow along with the music and see if you notice any little details here and there, or my notes make sense or whatever. I'm going to put the metronome on 72 because that's a nice andante-ish speed. And I'll play it 2 times, so see if you can hear the dynamic changes. 1, 2, 3. I made it. Was it perfect? No. But anyway, that's the best it could be in that moment. So the second half, let's take a look at line 3. Morbo is over that first measure of line 3 like we talked about. There's a line over that C with the quarter note C to remind you to connect the sound, so we don't want you want, and there's another line at the end of that. There's another one of those little lines in the following measure to connect the sound. Line 4, there's another one of those, so that we don't do, but then there's a lot of stuff that's written in this measure. In this measure, we have a crescendo, and so we need to save our bow so that we can actually do the crescendo towards the end of the slur. And that's always tricky because the crescendo is happening as we're making our way towards the tip. So I've written save bow on the dotted quarter note. and then spin on this one. So good luck with that. That was a little bit tricky. In the next measure, we've got poco rit circled, and that's short for little by little slow down, which is hard to kind of do with a metronome, but I've put a little dotted line for those two measures that the poco rit is for. Prepare the fourth finger. Fade away. So instead of but so that's kind of nice. It's time for you to find your fourth finger on the C string. Next line begins with a little star by a tempo, which means back to the original tempo. 1, 2, 3. A little arrow going forward to remind you that we actually need to pick up the tempo because we slowed down, so we got to actually go forward. Piano dolce is circled because we need to make sure that we remember we're in piano, and also to play it like in a sweet kind of piano vibe. Over the trill, over the TR, I've written 2, 3 so that we do the fingering. Sometimes trills start from above. And it might just be a matter of taste. If you're more educated in this area, you might comment below and let us know. I think there might be a difference between where it is happening, like if it's at a cadence or if it's a Baroque piece or whatever it is. There are some subtleties to that which I don't understand. So in this case, I'm just following my ear. I would do. There is a moment below on the next line where we start above, so we'll get to that opposite one in a moment. But anyway, so starting from that second to last line, the a tempo piano dolce. There's a swell on this next note, which we're going to do by speeding up the bow in the middle. And then stepping on the brakes at the end. So crescendo, which means we're going to get louder. So try not to lose sound, especially in this awkward little moment from. It's always a little bit hard when your highest, most important note is with the fourth finger and it's on a string crossing. Just be grateful there's not a shift. So. So now we're at the end of this line here, last line of the etude. And this trill, we're going to start from above. So the note that's written is an F sharp. But we're coming from the G before it. So we're going to start the trill. We're starting from the finger above this time. You don't have to, but I just wanted you to know that sometimes there is a difference between starting from above the trill or starting on the note of the trill. So in this case, we're just trying the opposite, starting from above the trill. In that section there, as we're moving towards, I think if it's an up bow, we're moving towards the up bow on the crescendo. We don't want to lose the sound at all. But we can lose it there because that's the end of the decrescendo. Little swell. To piano. Let's make it to the tip perhaps. And when we retake, start in that upper half. And it's just extra easy if you just use less bow. So just hanging out at the tip there for the piano the second time. This is line 3, second time. for the first ending, I've slurred those last two beats together in yellow. It's in yellow in your picture if you're working from the picture, so that we can actually end on a down bow in the second ending. So just slur those last two beats together, and then you can end on a down bow. All right, so beautiful little piece for you, very passionate, very emotional, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you for being here today, and I'll see you all very soon. All the links are below for you if you're interested in more about Patreon. Thank you so much to my lovely patrons. I hope you enjoy this class.